Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on our webinar. Uh, Today we have Neil Bayton from Judge Me joining us, and we are going to be talking about. I think everybody knows Judge Me. Shopify right now, so everybody knows Judge Me, and product reviews and customer testimonials are basically synonyms. So we're going to be talking about the power of reviews. We're going to be talking about trust. We're going to be talking about conversion rate and optimization of the conversion rate, and the the future of AI search and how reviews are actually impacting the the bots that are crawling our websites and are basically our pathway to actual clients. Neil, it's great to have you here with us today. If you want to say a couple of words about yourself, that would be awesome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for that introduction. I'm Neil. I'm head of partnerships at Judge Me. I was hoping some people might not have heard of Judge Me, but we're very well known in the Shopify ecosystem. But maybe people that are not too familiar with Shopify might not have known Judge Me. Judge Me is a product review platform, and we are the most downloaded app in Shopify's history. There we go. And for those that don't know us, check us out. We've got a website which is judge.me.
It's really good, and thank you for doing the presentation. Okay, now let me see if I can get the slides up on the screen right now. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the agenda for today, basically, we are going to be looking at the actual business impact of product reviews on the Shopify Marketplace, and we are going to be talking about a collection of product reviews, and not only that, but what do we do with those reviews, because that's where it actually stops for a lot of companies out there, and that's just basically a small part of what you can actually get out of tools like Judge Me and out of product reviews from our clients. We're going to be talking about conversion hacks. You've seen what your most successful clients are doing with Judge Me, with your service. You have a load of knowledge and experience, and it means that you're going to be able to help our the people following this webinar how to do it as well, how to replicate the success and be able to be more successful on their end as well. And the AI readiness part. Trust is, I think, the most important thing. I was at a conference last week in Lisbon, Digital Marketing Europe, and as you can probably imagine, AI was something that everybody was talking about. AI is something that everybody's talking about for the last 2 years at these industry conferences. And even my talk was, email automation powered by AI and so on.
If you don't have anything about AI, is anyone going to show up? You have to have something on AI.
Exactly. But it's because it is that important. We are seeing more and more traffic coming from AI. We are looking at the changes where people are actually going to be actually able to check out using AI. And everybody, whether it was SEO and GEO, email automation, performance marketing, social marketing, everybody was talking about trust. And how do we make our websites more trustworthy, not only for actual human customers and human visitors, but also for robots? It is through the power of one of the ways is through the powers of product reviews and customer testimonials. Now, we've put together this webinar with Judge Me because, first of all, just a big disclaimer here, we don't have any sort of like monetary or financial. This webinar is completely nonprofit. We're using Judge Me for a lot of our clients. For the vast majority of our clients, they have Judge Me installed, and we've been using Judge Me for many years on our Shopify infrastructure, and we love the tool. And what we've been doing with the previous webinars was to share our wins, to share what's working for our clients with anybody who's willing to participate. So that's why we have decided to reach out to Judge Me and see if you guys are interested in participating on the call. Thank you so much for responding and for being on the webinar with us. But Judge Me is a extremely powerful resource and an extremely powerful tool. But every time we get a new client, and sometimes when they have Judge Me installed, and we look at the configuration and the setup, we're like, okay, they've only done like 5% of, they're only using like 5% of the actual app itself. So why don't we do a webinar? Why don't we tell people how they can actually get everything and the most out of the solution, out of Judge Me? And yeah, I think it's pretty. I don't have a lot more to say. I'm gonna be able to share more examples along the way, and real life examples from what I know that our agency is doing when it comes to using Judge Me for our clients. But Neil, I think I can pass the baton to you, and you can start taking over and you know giving us the Judge Me knowledge.
Sure. Yeah. Well, again, thank you for having me. Just picking up on a point what you said about people that only using sort of 5 or 10% of Judge Me. It's one of our challenges that we've got. We're so feature rich. One of the challenges that we have as a company, however, is because we're very fairly priced. So we're only our most expensive plan is $15 per month. It means that I don't think people expect so much out of an app that costs $15 a month. So that's one of our challenges. Actually, people only do use us for 5 or 10%. But yeah, we're here with the help of Stefan and our agency network. We're here to talk about how you can get the maximum out of Judge Me. I feel that for $15, you're getting hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of value per month for the cost of $15. Anyway, so why reviews? More revenue. So customer reviews are seen as user-generated content, and this is good for search engines. So this is your SEO superpower, your secret SEO superpower. If you collect reviews, it's user-generated content. Search engines like user-generated content. Reviews are constantly being updated with recent content, and again, that's something that search engines look for. Search engines love the recency that reviews bring to your website. So if you can collect as many as you can, you're going to be looked upon favorably by the search engines because your website looks like it's being updated on a regular basis, where actually it's your customers doing that for you by leaving you reviews. Visual reviews are far more compelling, especially with younger browsers. They often show the product being used and in context, maybe in a way that you hadn't thought of before. That it's I didn't know you could use it like that or wear it like that or whatever it might be. So very good to show off reviews with video or images and all that sort of stuff. But not only do visual reviews and reviews just in general help with conversion, they also help with returns. So obviously, if people can see something being worn or used, they're less likely to make a mistake when buying it from you, and then they're less likely to make a return. So obviously, that's saving you money. And consumers have a better understanding of products that, products in general when they read reviews, but obviously if they can see it as well, it just resonates a little bit more with them. So collect visual reviews, collect picture reviews and video reviews, and most of the review platforms out there allow you to do that. But yeah, as I mentioned, not only will it help with the conversion of that product because people are reading reviews and answering questions about the product, it will also help with the return. So it's going to save you effort and money with returns. A little top tip for you when responding to reviews. Now, we recommend that you respond to all negative reviews. However, we do recommend that you respond to sort of like maybe 1 in 5 or 1 in 10 of positive reviews. Now, this is my top tip, and this is why you should do that. Just as much as the review you've collected is good for SEO, also your response to that review is good for SEO as well. So actually, by responding to a positive review by saying, thanks for choosing the best supplier of quality workwear in Romania, that's going to be picked up by search engines. So, when someone uses that long tail search term, your website might be found in search engines. So a little top tip there for making sure that you do actually respond to reviews, but please always respond to negative reviews, and the odd positive review is also going to help you as well.
This is something that we actually, I can attest to this being useful and a good strategy because we've also seen and used it. First of all, there's the matter of capturing reviews, and do you want to show the negative reviews? One of the tasks that we do for our clients is we go through the reviews and we, give them feedback. Regarding the actual product and everything else, and we ask for the vetting of those said reviews. And from time to time, we get clients that say, "Hey, but don't show that review; it's not good." And the client's the client. You do what the client says. But what we always try to tell the client is, "Hey, okay, I understand, but a better approach from our point of view would be to show the review, respond to it because you've already solved this client's problem. You are customer centric, and people tend to be skeptical when products have only 5-star reviews. But when they have, 10 5-star reviews and one-star review that says, bad experience, the product was broken, and then you guys respond to it and you're like, saying everything that you've already done, you're like, thank you so much for buying with us. We were happy to, replace the product. People who are browsing, they're going to be able to see that, hey, these guys are a real company. They have customer support. They own up to their mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Everybody knows that. And yeah, if I'm going to have problems with them, they're going to fix those problems. So it's much better, much better to actually resolve, not resolve, because for the vast majority, like all of our clients that I know of, have good and great, excellent customer support. So they focus on it and they do want to put the client on the pedestal. But if you do all that effort, show the negative reviews, chances are they're actually going to change that review from a 1-star to a 5-star when they see your response. So, yep, definitely a good strategy.
I couldn't agree more. I think consumers aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for authenticity. And I think when you're authentic by your responses to reviews, you're seen as not putting your head in the sand and not ignoring when something goes wrong. And if it is only 5 stars, that's certainly not authentic, because, even Judge Me makes mistakes. So, we all make mistakes. It's how you handle them. Now, Stefan, if you're anything like me, I probably look at the 1-star review and see what the worst that can happen. So, it's all about mitigating risk, and it's actually someone's 1-star review could be someone else's 4-star review. So it's all about the individual, and a well-worded response to a 1-star review is worth 10 5-star reviews. So always respond to your 1-star reviews, and I would say publish them as well, because it makes you more authentic.
Perfect. That's a top tip. I'm actually gonna write it down because I'll be making a post afterwards. And this is useful for so many aspects.
Yeah. Talking about like frictionless feedback. Obviously, getting the reviews can be a challenge. You want to give your customers the opportunity to leave reviews as easy as possible. What I say is the worst review of all is the one you never see. If I was to offer a product or service to Stefan and he had a bad experience and never told me, I'm never going to improve, but I'm also never going to win Stefan back as a customer. So actually, by receiving those 1-star reviews or 2-star reviews, you can actually do something about it. You can try and win back Stefan. And what tends to happen is those Stefans that have had a bad experience that you've turned around, they tend to become advocates of your business. So actually, the 1-star reviews can be a positive thing, and something that might unearth a process problem with your business, or a product defect, or whatever it might be. So please give your customers the best opportunity to leave reviews for you. So this might be via your product page on your website. It can be via email, live chat, or SMS and WhatsApp. So you might choose to send the original review request via email, but then a reminder follow up by SMS, just to maximize that conversion rate of your invite to actually receiving the review. Much like a text review is better and more authentic than editorial copy, right? So of course, you as a brand are going to say how great you are, but actually your customers saying how great you are is a better thing, right? So having those reviews published on your website is very, very positive. Jeff Bezos once said that your brand is what other people talk about when you've left the room. And so you can talk about how great you are. However, your customers talking about how great you are is far more convincing. And a photo of someone real using your product, again, is more convincing than, a model in the studio using it, or, it's not real life. So actually reviews are more authentic. And this is what consumers like, but this is actually what AI likes, the AI bots. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit later. So having those product reviews and picture reviews and how people use it just gives you a better idea of how you can present that product on your PDP in future. Some of the text that people use for leaving a review might help you with your search engine keyword strategy. But also reviews just in general answer so many questions that consumers might have about your business or your product, that like, oh, they deliver on a weekend, or, this product comes up a little bit big, or whatever, all those questions that people might have. And rather than either leave your website with those unanswered questions, or contact you via email or live chat or phone or whatever about the question, these reviews are answering those questions. So actually your reviews are doing the hard work for you, answering the questions and convincing people to click on.
This is more about the high quality versus generic reviews, right?
So getting high quality reviews is not easy, but it is worthwhile. As mentioned earlier, reviews often answer many questions that you've got. With particular product review platforms, you can have product options like, was this a good fit? What was the quality like? And you can say good, bad, or goes a little bit big or a little bit small. So you can get those particular specific information about a product as well, which really helps. But also in how you ask for the review will also determine the quality of the response, right? So in this particular instance, you've got social proof 1, good product, fast shipping, pretty forgettable, not really a lot of use. Or the second one, like, I'm 1.8 meters tall, I'm 6 foot tall, whatever, size M fits perfectly. So not only will this help other people convince other people that they should buy from you because I'm that height and that medium would fit me. It also helps with search engine and AI bots to really understand a little bit more about that product. So if you can get those product options within your review platform, and Judge Me does that, you can ask for a review, but then ask for product options or review options for that. Also, in the invite, be a little bit more specific of what you're looking for. So we really want to know a little bit more about the fit, or we really want to know about the quality of this product, what you felt about that. And that will come out in the response. So actually, the more you give, or the more you sort of nudge people in the actual invite, the more you're going to get a better response that's going to be both useful for you as a business, but also for other consumers browsing your site for the first time.
That's really good.
Cool. Next slide.
Yep. I had a question regarding the reviews strategy. I'm not sure if now is a good time to ask it, or if you're going to address it in the following slide. The question that I had got me thinking, because your example was apparel. And different companies are going to be in different verticals, and different verticals are going to have different catalog structures. And for those catalogs, there's going to be different strategies that work best. For example, in apparel, you're going to have designers or people who make products to order. And you're going to have fast fashion stores where, they get this line of products. It's only this inventory. It runs out of stock. It runs out of stock, and then they don't restock it. reviews for a product that is evergreen is going to be different from the review strategy from a product that goes out of stock and you're never going to stock it anymore. And this is just one thing, but then you're going to have like technology products where things are going to change. They're going to be the same like within apparel. So if we look at like the top verticals out there that make up the vast majority of Shopify stores, which is going to be apparel, it's most likely going to be beauty and cosmetics. It's going to be electronics and homeware. It's going to be like two of these verticals. Just you pick some of them. What are like different strategies that you would apply in order to get like the type of review that is going to be most helpful for that specific vertical?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think when you talk about fast fashion, about particular products that come in and out, and like obviously, if you're collecting reviews for a product that you're no longer going to sell, what use are those products? What use are those reviews? Sorry. So that's where company or store reviews come into play. So it could be that you've got a new dress that's part of a collection. Actually, you can show the reviews that you had for a previous product that's out of stock, but in the same collection for that new dress or that new shirt. But what you could also do, and what we're trying to encourage at Judge Me more and more, because they're becoming more important and more visible in the search engines, is store reviews. So actually having product reviews, we know it's great, right? We know the impact it has on conversions. We know the impact it has on building trust with that product, returns, and all that sort of stuff. However, they've got to get to your product page. So to get to the product page, there has to be some trust signals on your landing pages, on your home pages, for them to get to the product pages. So on this particular slide, we talk about the homepage. Actually, you've got 10 seconds to convince someone that you're a business that they want to work with. So having some social proof and some trust signals on your homepage is very important. Have it above the fold. Have it as an aggregate of all of your reviews. So it could be, we're 4.7 out of 5 on Judge Me, things like that. That's going to really, really help with that sort of first 10 seconds to convince them that you're someone that they want to work with. And that's when you get to the product reviews to convince them to actually buy. But yeah, as I mentioned, so depending on what you sell will depend on how your strategy is within the product page. So on the product page, if it is a brand new product, you might want to bring in reviews from a similar product or a product in a similar collection, but also have a selection of your store reviews on there as well. Yeah, just to bring up the trust for that particular product if you've got zero.
Stories are super. Yeah, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, it might be a product that you've sold maybe on another channel rather than your website. It might be something that you've sold on Etsy before or another marketplace. Review platforms such as Judge Me allows you to actually import those reviews. So you actually maybe never starting from zero. It might be a platform that a product you've just sold on socials before. You can actually bring those product reviews into your store, import them in, and start from a level above zero.
Not start from scratch. Yeah. Store reviews are super important. I know we spoke about this before as well. We have clients that are like premium brand owners, like luxury items, and apparently in the luxury industry, product reviews are not a functionality that is desired in general because they are premium items. They're going to have great quality. Customer support is going to be great. And that's just not a requirement that we get in reality from our clients to add product reviews, and there's pushback as well. But what we can do is get store reviews from those clients, and those store reviews are 95% of the time going to be like 5-star reviews because it is a premium product, because it is a premium shopping experience, because it is premium customer support. So they are going to have really great results. So it's something that I urge everyone listening to this webinar right now. If you don't want product reviews, or if your products, if you only have like one in stock out of a product, and you don't want to go through any sort of hassle with product reviews because of your catalog's structure, do use the functionality for store reviews, and do capture product reviews because you can show them in specific collections of products as well afterwards. They're not lost. Um, and the store reviews are super important for search engines because you can then show them on a specific page. You can authenticate that page using Judge Me, and show that you are what was that? I forgot the name of the functionality where you get like a barometer, or you get like a KPI of orders
Yeah,
that are verified. And Um, anyway,
yeah,
it's basically a way of vetting that the reviews you're getting are actual, reviews that you got from real customers. They're verified reviews, and that
verified.
helps further along with AI search and the AI robots and the crawling and the authenticity and getting more traffic from robots as well.
No, absolutely. No, I totally agree. People, consumers, new consumers, do look out for verified reviews. So reviews are verified if Judge Me, if the review invitation has come from our platform and it's being responded via the email or SMS, then we verify that because we know that the consumer has purchased through your website. We've automatically sent out that review invitation and they've responded. That's going to be verified. If you're collecting reviews in different ways, then the verification might be, it might not be verified, but there might be other ways that we can verify it. If we could maybe make contact with the consumer to say, did you actually purchase this? And they confirm that they actually purchased it from that website, we can verify. But yeah, verified reviews do hold a little bit more water, not only with the search engines and AI bots, but also with consumers as well. So very important to make sure that your reviews are verified. Going back to the product reviews, I do get what you're saying. When people have these very high luxury items, they might not be selling too much, because sometimes low social proof might be worse than no social proof, right? So if you've only got a product with 1 or 2 reviews, people think, well, they're not buying these.
Yeah.
However, I would say still collect them. You don't necessarily have to publish them, and you can keep them for some, when you do get a significant amount, you can then publish them all at once. Alternatively, you can use them for just product knowledge and product information about, things that are going well or not so well with your product. But Stefan, you're absolutely right on the store reviews. If you are a luxury brand, you feel like you don't want to collect product reviews, your store reviews are very, very important to be not only, to let people know why your products are a little bit more expensive. It's because you have this fantastic customer service. It's because you deliver same day, for instance, because you don't have delivery charges, all this sort of stuff. You want to highlight that out to people looking at your site for the first time. But also, again, as you said, they get picked up by search engines like Google and by AI, platforms like your Perplexities and OpenAI and all these sorts of things. So yeah.
I can't believe I missed that because it's actually something that I did as well. I owned a company in the US, a marketplace that was selling children's clothing, and we had a lot of non-evergreen items. So they were running out of stock, and that's it. So we still use the product reviews to capture product knowledge and feedback, because it was useful for us to see that this vendor has, returns, and most of the returns are saying it runs large, or it's too big, or because that was giving us product knowledge. Then we were able to go through. At that point in time, it was a couple of years ago before AI, unfortunately. Today, it would have been so much simpler because we would have just dumped all of the reviews into any ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., and ask it for, to analyze all of that product feedback. But back then, we were looking and we're seeing these, you know, consistent reviews pertaining to a specific vendor. It had a lot of volume, so we were able to actually, get insights. And then we were going to the product listings and we were saying runs large, if in between sizes, or they're smaller, or they're big. And that was actually helpful to us to reduce the return rate for said vendors and for the store itself. So yeah, for product knowledge.
Yeah, it'll help with a product description. It'll help with a product title as well. It can help with your search engine keywords to be like, okay, well, lots of people love the fact that it's really soft. Okay, well, you might want to use that in your keywords, like a soft, tennis jumper or whatever it might be. So yeah, it's look, feedback from your customers is the best feedback that you can ever receive, and if you act upon it, you're gonna improve your business and your products. If you don't act upon it and put your head in the sand, you got no sympathy for me. The product page, go back to this. The product page is where it all happens. This is where you want to display your reviews in a nice, concise way, a way that looks aesthetically pleasing, a way that maybe, if you're like me, an old fuddy duddy, you want to filter for the 1-star reviews. So have something that's got maybe pagination, allows to filter, maybe an AI summary. So actually, look, crikey, you've got 200 reviews. I'm not going to read all those. An AI summary. Okay, brilliant. This product is, applauded for its nice soft nature, and it comes up a little bit big or whatever it might be. So having AI summaries on the product pages are really going to help convince people to press those call to actions. And that's the important bit as well. Having your sort of overall review score very close to a call to action, which is like an add to cart or buy it now, is very, very important. Having a Q&A feature, right? As I mentioned, reviews answer a hell of a lot of questions that people have, but then you can have a separate Q&A feature as well, and that question will come back to you as a merchant, and then you can answer the questions, and then you can display them alongside the review. So it could be specific questions that people have about your product. Again, it's all going to be helping conversion rates. Then get to the checkout page. Then there's some more complexity. It's like, well, when's this going to be delivered? And how much is the delivery? What payment options have you got? So you need to then still reinforce that trust. Just when they call the pain of paying, right? So when you've got that pain of paying, you need to try and alleviate that pain of paying by enforcing that trust and mitigate any sort of risk that these guys might have. Now, you can put a widget on your checkout page to say, don't forget this product's 4.7 out of 5. But do you know what I like a little bit better? I like I have a little bit of social proof, like 97% of the people that bought this would buy it again. Or just a one-off review, like from Stefan, like this is the best coat I've ever bought, Stefan from Cluj or whatever, right? So those little bits of social proof right at that point of that pain of paying point really, really does help with conversions and can have a big impact on reducing cart abandonment.
That is really good, and my team is doing the installing, and I've not installed Judge Me myself for some time now. I want to ask you about the checkout page because I don't know right now. Is it possible to add these widgets on non-Shopify Plus as well, or is that the checkout page widget is only available on Shopify Plus?
My understanding, it's Shopify Plus because it allows
Shopify Plus.
the editing of that page. So we have particular widgets, but we also have integrations that allow you to display reviews at those key points in the checkout.
Mm-hmm.
So check out our integrations, which is judge.me/integrations, and there'll be some options there for displaying reviews at those key points in the customer journey.
That's another one of the reasons why we love working with Judge Me. It's because of your integrations and because you focus so much on building integrations with more and more services and marketing tools and everything else out there. Because we do use every single merchant that we work with at least has at least like 10 apps that they're working with. And the more those apps also work together, the better. So I applaud this to you guys.
Yeah, thank you. We're very proud of our integrations and the tech partners that we work with in that Shopify ecosystem. I really do like the Shopify ecosystem. Everyone wants to really help each other out. It's really an ecosystem that I haven't been too familiar with before I joined Judge Me. So it's something that's been very
Mm,
welcome. We like to think that merchants want the best of breed for their reviews and their loyalty and their email. You know, there's platforms that do all three and more, right? But they're never going to be the best at every single one of those aspects. So what we like to do is to integrate with those best of breed email, loyalty, bundles, payments, gateways, all this sort of thing. So actually you can have the best of breed, but just as long as they're all connected and they all work and talk to each other,
exactly.
you're going to have the best of everything that you can have. So yeah, tech stacks are really important as well, because actually that alleviates a little bit of a risk when a merchant's looking at Judge Me and think, oh, okay, well, you work with our tech stack already, so that's going to actually mean it's going to be easier for us to work with you. So yeah, that's one of our sort of key drivers in pushing Judge Me forward is our integration partners.
And I think one of the reasons why everybody's within the Shopify ecosystem, everybody's so helpful and they're so customer centric is because of Shopify and because of the revolutionary CMS that Shopify is. And if you've had like 10 years of experience working with Magento style or CMS, self-hosted CMSs, where everything had to be custom coded to a large extent, when you reach Shopify and you find, that things are working, and you find a great reviews service, and then you find another great email service, and those two integrate together, you're like, okay, we're making things happen. It's
And you've got to applaud Shopify for that, right? So they've made it very, very easy for us to work with us. And we see ourselves as a commodity of Shopify. And the reason we like to be, low cost is because we know Shopify likes apps that are low cost. So it means they're going to sell more Shopifys. And the reason it's so much easier to work with these other platforms out there is because we all want the same thing. We all want Shopify to succeed, because if Shopify succeeds, then we're going to succeed, and if we succeed, the merchants are going to succeed. So we're all backing the same horse here. So it does feel like a little bit of a club. And again, with people like yourselves and the other agencies, they've all sort of they've all backed Shopify and they all want Shopify to do well. So the more Shopify comes out and makes life easier for us, it's going to make life easier for merchants, and in turn make life easier for consumers, because consumers they want to see reviews, they want to see loyalty programs, they want the checkout to be seamless, they want all these things that Shopify do really help with. So yeah, it's a great ecosystem, and it's something I've really enjoyed working in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years.
Yep, it absolutely is.
Where's next though, Stefan? Where's it going next? Obviously, I've heard some crazy numbers in what they're sort of investing in the product. It's they're here to stay, and I think they're going to be the right choice for whichever brand, whichever size brand you are. If you're just starting out, Shopify is the right choice. If you're mid-market or if you're an enterprise, they're going to be the
Shopify is the right choice.
they're the right choice for you as well. So long may it continue.
And even enterprise. 5 years ago, so up until like 2019, our focus was 100% self-hosted CMSs. We only had like one or two Shopify clients. But 2019, 2020, things just started blowing up in terms of functionality and our understanding of Shopify as an agency. And 2020, we just made this decision to focus completely on Shopify. We migrated everything we had on other platforms over into Shopify, and we only took on Shopify clients. Even today, if someone reaches out to us saying they want, I don't know, email marketing or performance marketing or anything, but they're on WooCommerce, we're going to say, sorry, no, if you want us to migrate you over to Shopify first, sure, no problem. But other than that, we don't need the security, we don't need the bugs, we don't need the checkout not working. It's just it we cannot go back, so to say. But back then, the vast majority of our clients and interest with regards to Shopify was smaller businesses. US, that's where we can say, because that's where the vast majority of our clients are. So within the US, we had like a smaller client base and interest. But in the last couple of years, and especially in the last 12 months, since they started rolling out the agentic platforms and everything else, we've seen enterprise interest in Shopify as well. So that increases numbers, that increases visitors, that increases requirements, and that means solutions like yours are actually, they're going to have a lot of success when it comes over because you've picked a right platform.
Yeah. No, we've got many enterprise clients on Judge Me, even though we're, fairly priced. People like fairly priced apps and fairly priced software. And, a very, very large enterprise customer moved over from one of our competitors recently. And they were just like, well, we like to know the total cost of ownership. Whatever we do, whatever software that we're working with, we don't like surprises. So we don't like, it's got $200 a month on the tin and it ends up being $500. We don't like that. And we've only got one price. It's $15 per month. That's unlimited amount of reviews. So, and this is a $1 billion company, and they said we just like the fact that we know the total cost of ownership of Judge Me. It's going to be $15. If we have a busy period, we're not getting any nasty surprises. So, yeah, even enterprise, we proudly say that we're a platform for everyone, right? Regardless if you're just starting out or you're an enterprise, and this is proved correct with these huge big companies using Judge Me for their reputation and their review strategy. So yeah, you're right. And all the time that Shopify, the numbers I heard were like mind-boggling. It was like over $1 billion this year just in development for enterprise. Like, crazy. But no, so yeah, you're right. And I think, Ecommerce Today and Judge Me are probably sitting quite nicely to take advantage of those bigger merchants that want to use these platforms or want to use Shopify.
The agency world is changing at a pace which is, happy to say, very hard to keep up with. We're always, and the app development space and the SaaS solution space right now with AI and cloud co-work and cloud design and everything else is adapting so much. But I feel like there's going to be like a couple main solutions for e-commerce platforms in the future. Shopify is definitely going to be one of those, if not the platform solution for e-commerce. And there's going to be like specific tools and services. And what AI and what, everything needs to be put together is going to be an architect. And I feel like that's where agencies are going to be headed in the next stage in the next couple of years. But yeah, our money is on Shopify for sure as well.
A lot of people are backing Shopify, and obviously they've recently, working with, is it Google with their MCP server as well? So they're at the forefront of the technology, and the thing that everyone's talking about at the moment, which comes onto our next slide, is AI, right? So Shopify wouldn't work if Shopify stores weren't coming up in AI answers, right? So they are at the forefront when it comes to AI. They've got their own MCP servers and all that sort of stuff. But AI systems that we talked about a little bit earlier, your Claudes and your OpenAIs, ChatGPTs, Perplexities, and all this sort of stuff, they rely heavily on public reputation signals, such as customer reviews, which that's no surprise I was going to say that, ratings, industry recognition, usage scale, market presence, trust signals like certification, social proof, all that sort of stuff. So brands with lots of positive reviews, clear product positioning, and strong public documentation, are in a very strong position when it comes to, having their stores as AI answered from platforms like Gemini and ChatGPT, like we said. AI systems, they're likely to use review sources that have verified purchases. We talked about that a little bit earlier. As we sort of said before, it's like they're looking for the truth. They're looking for trust. And we as a brand owner, you're going to say we are the best. But does your review say so? And if your reviews say so, then they're going to take a lot more credence from that than editorial copy saying how great you are. So AI systems are looking for verified purchasers, detailed written reviews. We talked about that a little bit earlier, Stefan, how it's much better that they're detailed, a high review volume, and clear product or service categories. So, and the recencies we talked about before. AI has no interest in talking about something. Do you know what was really interesting? And I won't necessarily talk about them because one of our competitors was reviews, loyalty, email, subscriptions, and all that sort of stuff. Actually, some of the AI bots are still recognize them as doing those 2 or 3 other things that they don't actually do, right? So there's some content there that needs to be updated. So AI, because otherwise AI will then just push you to side completely and say, well, actually, your content's not up to date. So we're not actually going to cite you in our answers. So actually having it up to date is very important. And reviews, the way that reviews are structured tend to be, we like to have larger reviews, but they tend to be 100 words or so, 50 to 100 words. They like that. They can consume that sort of review structure very, very easily. So clear product reviews, clear store reviews, high review volume, high recency. These are the sorts of things that these AI systems that we talked about are looking for. So to those luxury companies that you talked about not wanting product reviews, maybe they should reconsider, and when they get to 5 or 10 or something like that, maybe.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why LLMs and crawling robots like those is because they're natural language. They're the type of prompts that the questions that they get as prompts from real life, humans such as myself.
Yeah.
And they're helpful. And also the responses that we give out, that's like what you said in the very beginning, so important. We like to respond to as many reviews as possible and inject in those reviews like keywords for these robots to pick up and to help us to rank better. Because if in the response to a testimonial or to a review, we include great customer support, we're happy that you think our customer support is great. That's definitely going to be able to help us. Not
Bravo.
aim,
There we go. Stefan,
but
you just hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what people should do. But
yep.
they must make sure, what's important is JudgeMe, the way that JudgeMe works, we give all the SEO juice back to the brand, the merchant. Not all platforms do that. So be careful that your review platform, you actually have the SEO juice, for want of a better word. I'm sure there's a more technical term than that.
Yep, this is great.
So you actually benefit from all the things that you just mentioned, right? The fact that you can actually curate a nice well response for the best support, in Romania or whatever it might be. But make sure that the search engine can read that. So make sure that you have the SEO juice for those reviews. Not all platforms offer that. So make sure you choose a platform that gives you the SEO benefits of your reviews. Everything that we just talked about today, right, is irrelevant if actually the review platform are keeping it to themselves.
Can you share not an example of a specific brand, but an example like for the people listening here to understand how JudgeMe displays it and how it allows the brand itself to be the owner of this SEO juice, or how it works in a
we
different
allow
way?
you to own the review and publish the review yourself and benefit from that being indexed by the search engines. So we don't keep those reviews. We don't publish those reviews necessarily anywhere that's
On a third-party website, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So it's given to you. You're owning that user-generated content, which is what the search engines like. But there are other platforms that we won't mention that they keep that to themselves. Now, there is other benefits to you as a brand by them keeping it to yourself, but all the SEO juice is going towards them rather than you, right? So do you want your platform highly ranked, or do you want this other third-party platform highly ranked, even though it might mention you? So it's how you want to do it. I know a lot of brands, especially maybe slightly on the smaller and medium size, they want all the SEO juice they can get, right? So they want all the benefits of the SEO or the user generated content, which are reviews, and want to keep it on their site rather than give it to a third party that might be their platform of choice now, but might not be in the future, right? So just got to think of these sorts of things when you're making a decision on what review platform and what your strategy is.
Backlinks are important, like references or citations are important right now for AI as well. Maybe this is something like an extra feature that Judge Me would like to develop in the future as well. It's by far the most important part about product reviews and testimonials is that they sit and live and exist on our merchants' websites. That's a no-brainer. But maybe you guys can add like a special feature in the future that's like a database of stores and statistics about those stores.
Watch this
And
space, Stefan. I'd say watch this space, because we do understand that having a third party does also help with AI as well. So if there is a third party sort of depository, if you like, of all these reviews talking about how great these
Judge Me is saying that store X did this and won this award last year, and they had like 97% of their product reviews were verified, things like that.
Exactly this sort of thing. So yeah, I'd say watch this space.
Nice. Okay. On the data structure side of things, that's another reason why we love using Judge Me, but I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. Do you mean by the just remind me what you mean by the data structure? So do you mean I think I took this as feeding into the likes of like Google with rich snippets? Is that not the case?
That is the case. That's exactly the case. Because one of the things that we do for clients, starting with like 2 years ago at least, is optimizing their websites so that they are easier to read and digest by, robots, crawlers. And one of the things that you need to do from the very beginning is the rich snippets part of thing. And there's no work for us when it comes to Judge Me. No headaches. They just work right out of the box, which is really good.
It was just, it does work out the box. We do have our partners have structured JSON as well that allows this to happen. And it was very, very important. But I think it's even more important now because of AI's come in and because that's how they read data in that sort of structured nature to then give answers. It's even more important because before it was important because Google liked to have this structured data. You could then mark up a organic listing for rich snippets. So it might be telling if something's in stock, or it might say what the actual rating is on that organic listing. So it's offering additional information to browsers about organic search results. Also makes it a little bit bigger. And if you've got the stars in your organic listings, I call it the magpie effect, Stefan. That we're all as like humans drawn to these glistening, anything that glistens, and these stars that you see in the organic product listings on Google really do help. And that's called rich snippets, and it's part of the structured data that, like you said, thank you, out of the box. It's all set up. All your pages are all structured properly, and can be then seen as rich snippets within organic listings in search engines, not just Google, but others as well. But again, it's as important as it ever been, because now the Perplexities and the Geminis and stuff, they're looking for that structured data as well. And if it's easy to read, then it's easy to display, and then it's easy for them to put them into answers that we know now are, crikey, the number keeps growing every week, right? So the more people are using, AI now to make decisions on purchasing, it was 20%, give it a week, it was 30, and now I think it's up to something over 50% now. It's crazy. So, if you don't have your reviews in the correct way, then the AI's platforms won't find it, won't read it, and then won't display it to consumers that might be looking for your product or your brand.
Yep, definitely. We're definitely in the same sentiment, and there's a lot of statistics out there in terms of AI usage and adoption. The reality is it's kind of a black box because it's the algorithm itself. With Google, you were like nobody, the algorithm is secret and they're not releasing it. With AI, they don't even understand the algorithm themselves, so it's very hard to actually release something. It's they've said it. They all said it. So right now, there's actually very few ways in which you can track the actual results for AI search optimization. What you can do is you can go by best practices, and by far the most important best practice is to make sure that your data is structured in a way in which AI crawlers can digest it and use it. And we've seen like once we finish, we have like a one-time uh, service that we typically do for our clients in the beginning for AI e-commerce store optimization. And the minute we finish that, we see the number of impressions, going up. And not only on the Bing Webmaster. Bing was one of the first. There's like Bing Webmaster Tools and Google Search Console, and Bing Webmaster Tools, like a month and a half or 2 months ago, released their AI dashboard within the Webmaster Tools part. But when we finish that task, and a lot of it is regarding structured data, we see number of citations going up almost immediately. Like a couple of days later, we see citations increasing, and at the same time, awareness is increasing within Google Search Console as well, which is most likely it didn't happen before because we were doing that type of data structure optimization tasks as well. But right now, when we're doing it, since Gemini and Google's going more into the search space as well, into the AI search space as well, we've seen that just go up right away. Not clicks yet, but impressions are increasing, which means you get a lot more eyeballs on your brand.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a new skill that everyone needs to brush up on. But yeah, it's interesting. Like you say, they don't even know the algorithm themselves. That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, this sort of like this is quite a nice finishing of what we were sort of talking about, like throughout the chat. Was AI is very much more. It's trying to verify what you say about yourself via other means, right? So it takes more notice. It take less notice of a brand saying something good about themselves rather than a customer. It wants to take the authenticity of reviews and accreditations, as we talked about, and memberships to sort of Federation of Small Businesses or whatever it might be. Those sorts of like trust signals and social proof rather than take from what you're saying. So I don't know. I might be speaking a little bit out of turn, but my impression of what AI is looking for, they're looking for the trusted verification of what you're saying on your site. Whereas actually Google was, you had the domain authority. Don't get me wrong, that was very important. But Google would maybe take in some of the copy that you've written yourself, right? So when we can all write copy saying how great we are, it has to now needs to be backed up by verified reviews or accreditations, as we talked about. And for me, it just seems like that's what AI is looking for. And if it can verify you as being trusted source, then that's when it's going to display you in their answers, essentially.
This is 100% the case, and I can give you an example. We added on our website in the footer, we added an Ask AI about e-commerce today area, and there you have like the icons from ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok, and so on. And when you click on those icons, that LLM appears, and there's a prompt in there. You're act like a B2B specialist. I'm looking for an agency in the e-commerce sector, Shopify. What can you tell me about e-commerce today agency? And it, they all respond in different ways. Of course, we try to keep the prompt as simple as possible so that we don't push it in the direction in which it shows good things. And they all, not all of them, but most of them reference citations of our agency, of us, from the exterior. And I think Claude is the one that is actually referencing the fact that we were able to find authentic, 100% verified, or interview-based reviews from clutch.co, and they have like 50 of them. So these are verified, these are authentic, and they mentioned this: authentic, trust, verified. But they all look and they all try to make references. Like they state this on their website, and we found this information out there, and it's verified or it's not verified. But still, it's good that it's there. So it does do that in
I
the
think it's a really good
decision-making
thing that
process.
you've done there as well, because that's just going to reinforce a lot of trust with people looking at e-commerce today. I think that's a great idea. Great idea. I wonder how often it changes, and how often. And sometimes you might put in a particular thing one day, and it comes up with one sort of result, and then the next day it might come up with something different. So I'm not sure about the consistency yet of like the results, but they're all looking at a trusted source. So that's really interesting. I'm going to check that out, Stefan, after this chat.
Do that for sure. We actually got that inspiration from a service that we're using for email marketing. They have that on their website as well. And we're like, oh, that's so cool.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Uh,
love it.
but we had a lot of people reaching out to us on the business development side of thing, and we were asking them, how'd you hear about us? And they were like, ChatGPT told us to, or Perplexity told us to reach out to you guys. We're like, okay, let's see. Let's put this on the website.
Do you know
Cool.
what? I had I host a Shopify meetup in London for anyone that's in town every couple of months, and we've got one tomorrow. But unfortunately, in London, there's a tube strike tomorrow. But there was a lady, a data scientist, was actually going to be presenting tomorrow, and she's done an audit of about 300 different brands. Exactly what you're just saying. Exactly how they are seen by the Perplexities and the Claudes and all this sort of stuff. So I was really looking forward to listening to her, but it's going to have to be another couple of months now because she can't get in and out of London on time. But I was really looking forward to that because I'm still learning too, right? And it's going so quickly, but you've got to jump on that train now because if you don't, you're going to be left behind.
The difference, what you have to learn, just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, true. That's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
Neil, thank you so much for participating on our webinar today and for sharing all this information. I think the key takeaways are: do not look at product reviews just for the SEO benefits or GEO benefits. Look at product reviews for everybody watching and people that are following us. Use product reviews for product knowledge. Use product reviews for business decisions. Use product reviews for better AI discoverability, for SEO, for GEO. It's something that we consider to be critical right now for our client success, and it is going to help you if you implement it. And again, Neil, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care.